like a CPA, or a financial planner. I mean, that's how you're going to find those people, is by referral. Because when you're just Googling people, you have no clue.
Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Hey, everybody, this is Michael J. Maher once again on the Referrals Podcast. Welcome to another amazing episode of this awesome Referrals Podcast. Every single time we come out swinging, and the feedback on the Triangle of Trust series has been fantastic. We normally don't do it this way. We normally have me interviewing a guest, and we've gone to the kind of this every once in a while we'll do a series on a strategy, and it's going to be me talking most of the time, just really teaching the depth of the strategy and how I used it to get referrals. And the feedback has been off the charts. I think what it is they really just like my co-host really a lot. And that's why the show is getting higher ratings. We're number, 64 out of the top 100 in marketing? 52. And then didn't you just date me? We were top 50, something like 47.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did hit top 50.
So top 50 in the top 100 of all in United States. We are trending upward. Very exciting about that. And I have to thank you, the listener and the viewer, for making that possible, making that happen. Thank you for downloading it. Thank you for following us. And thank you for listening to our stories. And so I'm here today with my guest co-host, Sherry L. Maher. Sherry, welcome.
Hello. Again.
So I want to first give a shout out to Judy. And Judy wrote me a handwritten note at the presentation that I was doing, and I was floored by it. So it says, "Hi, Michael. I was very happy to find out that you would be teaching today. I read 7 Levels right after moving to Florida. I had been part of Amway and a few other multi-level companies before. I loved what I read and applied to my business. I cracked my book open after learning that you were going to be the speaker. I then realized I have been doing everything except for really giving thanks. Not writing down my blessings in the morning has been something I have been lacking. I had an incident happen where I thought my commission check would be $1,500 more than I thought it would be, and I was so mad and upset. Right then, I remembered your book and your lessons, and I kept it moving, realizing I am blessed to have a great job, loving boyfriend, great home, and drive the car of my choice. I will continue to be more appreciative, grateful, but also give back. My goal is to be the most referred home inspection company in Florida. Signed, Judy." I thought that was awesome. And one of the things I talked about is how to become the most referred professional in your community. And I'm going to give you the answer. I'm not going to bury that lead. The way to be the most referred professional in your community is to be the most generous professional in your community. Be known for your generosity. Be generous. Give the 7 gifts of generosity. Be always talking about others, giving massive value first, and also be a great receiver. Be an appreciative receiver. When things come to you, just take them and continue to bless people with those blessings. So love that. Appreciate that. And then I would be remiss if I didn't tell you Happy Memorial Day, right? You just had Memorial Day yesterday, and Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you guys all had a safe, awesome weekend, and just know that that's a big day for us here at Referco and a lot of the people that we know. And for those of you in the military, thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate everything that you do for us and continue to do for us, so that we have the freedom to do the things that we get to do every single day here at Referco and in the United States. And also, listen, Event Mastery starts. Event Mastery starts in a week. You need to make it happen. Whatever it takes, go to funprospecting.com. And just so you know, I decided to get another URL. You guys know I love my URLs. Funleadgeneration.com was also available. So if you really want fun lead generation, just go to funleadgeneration.com and you will learn about how to get into Event Mastery. And last but not least, join GenGen. Tell us what you learned from today's podcast, and you might get a cool little surprise in your private messages. I love doing that. I did that last week, and the people are loving it. So, all right. So, Sherry, anything that you want to ask or make sure that we cover before I jump in?
Yeah. Well, no, we were just talking about right before we started recording about the when we were selling a lot of real estate in Kansas City, how you got the Cerner relocation.
Yes. Speaking of great URLs, I had cernerrelocation.com forever, and we were the de facto relocation company for basically a 50,000 employee company for a while. This was, they were growing leaps and bounds and hiring engineers from all across the United States. And we had actually moved in 3 or 4 of those. We had been referred to them, and we had the opportunity to help them and serve them. And what was amazing is we never heard anything really from Cerner as far as like a relocation company. And for those of you that aren't in real estate, some of these companies have relocation companies who do all the work, and then they charge an outrageous referral fee, sometimes up to 50% referral fee, which in the world of real estate, imagine that. They give you a name and they get 50% of your commission. And you got to realize we don't make the other 50%. We pay it out for a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. So when I discovered that Cerner did not have a relocation, a person that they could trust to help with these people that were moving in, I implemented what I would call like the triangle of trust on steroids, and it's called the spokes to hubs strategy. So I discovered there was a gal by the name of Monica who worked in the human resources department, and she was actually kind of my main contact, but it'd been email, it'd been just really superficial. There was no connection there whatsoever. I would have been a stranger to Monica, and she would have been a stranger to me. And so what I did is I implemented the spokes to hubs, which is I went to the 5 to 7 people that I knew worked at Cerner, and some of them weren't even clients. These are just people that I played softball with or knew from other places. And what I did is in one day I told them all, listen, will you call Monica and just leave a message that I'm going to be contacting her and that it's worth her time to take my call? Would you just do that? So instead of going direct to Monica, I probably would have been shut down. As you can imagine, HR, super busy. They're in growth mode, probably 1,000 fires to put out a day. So I went to Patrick and I went to Amanda. I went to, all the people I knew at Cerner. And I just said, hey, listen, will you call her today and just let her know that I'll be calling her by the end of the day? And they were all, yeah, like, heck yeah, no problem. So they all called. When I called at 4:00, it was the warmest first call I've ever experienced in my life. She was like, I don't know who you are, but you must be pretty dang awesome, because all I heard was awesome things about you and that you were going to call today. And I go, well, I appreciate that. And, the fact that I had 5 to 7 people that were willing to go to bat for me was a big deal. But I want to go to bat for you. I want to go to bat for you with people who are considering Cerner as a company. I want to convince them that Cerner and the Kansas City area is going to be the right choice for them versus them going to the Silicon Valley or somewhere else to work. So here's the thing. I'd love to get together with you. I promise not to take more than 30 minutes. I'll show you what we can do from a real estate and a real estate tour perspective, so that they are prepared for the move. So she was like, sure. I went down there, and in 30 minutes, it turned into an hour. It was a phenomenal discussion. All I did really was ask questions of her about what I could make, how I can make it a huge win for her. And basically it was doing what we already did as a team, which was do all the real estate services and take care of the clients and wow them. And so she was sold, and guess what? That turned into referral after referral after referral after referral, and we were the de facto Cerner. So spokes to hubs in that particular instance drove over $1 million in income to the Maher team over the course of 7 years. So that was a big deal. And it all started because I didn't go direct and try to cold call an HR rep. It was totally warm, and it got the door opened, and here we go, right? So love that. And that is a great way to go into a conversation. But I can tell you there is actually a better way to go into a one-to-one meeting than having been warmed up by 5 to 7 people. Do you know what that is, Sherry? What's a better way to go into a meeting than even like having 5 to 7 people sing your praises?
Going into a meeting with referrals.
That is the right answer. There's no better way to go into a meeting than having referrals for the person you're talking to in your pocket, ready to go. If you want to give them to them. You don't have to give them to them. But isn't it great? So what we're going to do now is we're going to do what I considered the triangle of trust calls. And these are calls to my ambassadors and champions. You've heard me talk about rating and grading your database and grading it A+, A, B, C, and D. A pluses are ambassadors, A's are champions, and so on and so forth. You've also heard me talk about grading the database by energy. And we talk about multipliers, which are people who they energize you at a very high level. Super awesome people. And then the plus people who are positive people. They're people who you hang out with, they're fun, that kind of thing. And then the zeros are neutrals. You don't know them, or you just don't know them well. And then the minuses are people who, kind of take away your energy a little bit, and just, you don't feel like it drives you much. You'd wear sweats to the meeting with them, that kind of thing. And then you have the divisive, right? So you've got a minus with a dot above and below it for a division sign. And there's the divisive toxic people that you just need to really avoid and delete from your life, right? And so this would be a call to the multipliers in your database, the multipliers that you know, or the A pluses and A's that you know. So I'm just going to model it for everybody so that everybody understands the power of what I'm doing. Right? So the first thing is know that I'm going to be calling the top people in my database, and I'm looking for opportunities to meet the best people they know. And I have this saying, when you meet up, meet up. When you meet up, meet up. Meet people who are more successful than you, right? More connected than you. And so that's the root and the value of these phone calls, right? So I'm going to call Sherry. Sherry's going to be my ambassador and play along with us. The best way to learn sometimes is through example. So I think that's going to come. You're going to see the power of this as I go through this. But this is me implementing the triangle of trust on phone calls to my database, especially to my ambassador champions who I talk to quite regularly. So, all right. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Sherry Maher, what is up? Hey, listen, do you have a couple of minutes? I know you're super busy, and I've only got a couple of minutes too. Do you have a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate that. So here's the deal. Do you have a CPA?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Hesitation in that. So here's the thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is they're awful, and 10, they're awesome. How would you rate your CPA?
3.
A 3. Yeah. What would it take to make them a 10?
Better communication, quicker response, more advanced planning strategies.
Okay. Very interesting. So here's what I'm doing, just so you know, is I'm calling the best of the best people I know, like people like you. And what I'm doing is I'm asking some of them, who's your CPA? And they're ranking their CPA. Now, I'm going to get CPAs that are ranked 10, 11, and 12. Seriously, I've had people say out of 10, they're at 12. Now, I'm then going to meet with 2 or 3 of these CPAs. If I feel like one of the CPAs really makes a lot of sense for you, would you be open to meeting that CPA if there was no obligation? Would it be all right if I connected you to that CPA?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for a new CPA.
Yeah, so I'll interview them for you. I'll check them out for you. I'll ask about speed to response. I'll ask about, being creative with ideas and being proactive. I'll ask about the things that you're kind of looking for. If I feel like maybe they're a fit, then I'll connect the two of you through a three-way text. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Do you mind if I ask you about financial planner? Do you have a financial planner?
Yes.
So what would you rate your financial planner on a scale of 0 to 10?
Probably a 6.
Okay. So similar scenario, right? So
Yeah.
here's the thing. I'm going to be talking to people about their financial planner, and I'm going to get some 10s. If I find a 10, would you mind meeting with a 10 or two? It won't cost you anything. You can just talk to them, right?
Yeah.
Great. All right. So do you have a landscaper? Somebody that takes care of the yard, things like that. How would you rate your landscaper?
10.
10? 10 out of 10. I love it. What do you like about your landscaper?
They come every week. They're consistent. They, if I have a question, they'll answer it. They, take care of stuff right away.
Oh, I love it. So are you open to introducing me to your landscaper? What I'm doing is I'd love to have people that I could refer to my referral network, and people that are 10s and 11s and 12s are all I'm looking for. So would you mind connecting me to them?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be great. All right. So I'd love the information. I'd get the information. And then here's the thing. So let's say you just gave me the information. I would then say, hey, listen, would you do me a favor? Would you call, Joanne, the one that runs the landscape group, and would you call Joanne and just let her know that I'll be reaching out to her? Would you let them know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to call them about 4, and I know it's about 2:30 now.
Okay.
So if you could do that in the next hour, that'd be great. And then I'll reach out to her at 4:00. Does that sound good?
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Well, that's 2 minutes, and I just wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity. Oh, one last question before I go is I just thought of this because I think I know the answer to this, but how about attorney, like an estate attorney? Do you have an estate attorney?
I do.
Yeah. And how would you rate your estate attorney?
10.
10 out of 10, right?
10 out of 10.
Yeah. And so would you mind connecting me to them?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate that. Once again, I'll call him at 4:00 today. If you could reach out to him before that, that'd be great. Right. And now, so stepping out of the role play, first of all, Sherry, as a recipient of that call, did you feel any pressure? Did you feel any negativity? Did you feel any,
No.
yeah. So what did you feel? So talk about how you felt.
I felt helpful, with the landscaper referral to you.
Yep.
Like there was 2 categories where like I needed help, and then there were 2 categories where I could help. So I kind of like the yin and yang of that.
Yeah. So in this case, it worked out 2 and 2, right? But sometimes it works out 0 for 4 for them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, where I'm going to be referring. So how do you feel about the 2 people or the 2 professions that I'll be interviewing and kind of talking through and giving back to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I anytime that you can, like when you're especially like on a profession where like that mattered, like a CPA, like, or a financial planner. I mean, that's how you're going to find those people is by referral. Because when you're just Googling people, like you have no clue, how, what kind of service they really provide. So getting a referral from somebody that's been vetted, like that's hugely helpful, especially when the person I'm talking to, I already have trust and confidence in. Yeah.
100%. The triangle of trust. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then you said the word trust like 9 times. And that's why we do this, And so now, so let's kind of fast forward so I'm going to do 10 of these calls to my top multipliers, top ambassadors and champions, the top people I know. And now when I'm done with that, I'm going to have like 2 or 3 CPAs that were ranked a 10. And I'm going to have 7 or 8 that people who need CPAs, and maybe it's 7, maybe there's one person that just doesn't need a CPA and doesn't want a CPA, right? Or says no, that you don't necessarily need to connect me, which is fine. But remember, when I meet with those 2 CPAs, what do I have in my pocket? I have 7 referrals.
Yeah,
I have
seven that need a CPA.
7 people who are in. And by the way, the best person to refer the CPA is somebody who's already used the services of a CPA. It's harder for a CPA to convince someone to use a CPA than it is to convince somebody that's already using a CPA to move CPAs. So like Sherry in this example is a really good referral because she's not going to do it herself. She's gonna bring on a CPA. So, and then I meet with the financial planner. Once again, I have 3 or 4, maybe 7 referrals in my pocket, and I could do this. I could give 3 to one and 3 to the other. And here's what happens a lot is I meet with the 2. One of them I jive with. One of them the other one, not so much. There's an arrogance, or there's a offish, or there's just it's just like there's a lack of alignment, right? Or they're just a taker, right? Or they're super aggressive. Mm-hmm. And super aggressive doesn't work in my tribe of trust. It just isn't a great factor. And so guess what? I have one that I can give 7 to, and that's much more the way I kind of like it. But then notice that with the landscaper, I'm going to meet with Joanne from the landscape group, and I'm going to have the opportunity to chat with her about opportunities. One of those opportunities would be sponsoring our events. Another opportunity would be, when I have somebody in our network that is newly moved in, then they're going to need a landscaper. And we have tons of opportunity for landscapers, so that's not a hard referral at all. But here's what I've discovered about landscapes and landscape architects is they are sometimes the first people to know when somebody's moving. And if we stay on top of that with that conversation, I have to tell you, I'm going to give kudos in Kansas City. I will tell you that I had a guy that was 26-year-old, started his own landscaping company at 18 years old. He was one of my very best referral sources of nice houses, like $400,000 to $600,000 houses. And his name's James Schneider. So I mean, God bless him. I haven't talked to him in a while, but ever since I moved to Atlanta. But it's just one of those where, that's a really good referral source. So I want to meet with them. I want to build those relationships. And you can never have too many of a few things. One is people who do drywall. You can never have too many of those. It's an art form. Number 2, you can't have too many landscapers. And number 3, you can't have too many handy people, like handymen, handy women. Mm-hmm. Those are just 3 things that you can always use when you're in real estate. And then an estate attorney is a great referral source. So, in this case, I'm going to get referred to a 10, and there I am sitting across the table with them or at a Zoom. I've got 7 referrals for them. Now, first of all, is there any better way to start a referral relationship than with referrals? I mean, It's like you can say all day, I love referrals, and man, I want to create a referral partnership with you. And then you go, oh, and here's 3. Here's 3 people and let me tell you about these 3, how awesome they are. And then you do the 3-way text, and you have this follow-up mechanism, and you see how it goes. And everybody wins. And what do they tend to want to do? They forget about every other realtor they know. That CPA is going to forget about every other realtor they know. And that's the truth. They're going to refer to me. Why? Because I just gave them more referrals than their realtor has ever given. That's why I win the referral game. That's how Sherry and I won the referral game, with giving referrals. And guess who? Nobody gives more referrals than realtors. I'm just telling you. Maybe doctors, maybe a general physician doctor, but other than that, it's got to be a realtor at the top of the list. So if you're realtors, you're listening to this, please implement the triangle of trust. But I'm not done yet. We're almost done. But here's the back half of this. I have someone to follow up with. I now have so many reasons to follow up with Sherry, who is my ambassador, my champion, or my multiplier. I have all those conversations to follow up. And here's the thing. They were really connections and introductions, maybe more than referrals. But my language with her is going to be thank you for the referral to the estate attorney. Thank you for the referral to the landscaper. Their identity is going to be, I am a referral source for Michael Maher and the Maher team. I've changed their identity from whatever it is. And here's what's so funny. People are like, I usually don't refer people. And that is a thing because they're scared that it won't go well. So this gives people the opportunity. And by the way, anytime somebody says that, I go, I understand that's all good. I had another thought is what's your favorite movie of all time? Like, Sherry, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh my gosh.
What's one of them? Name one of your favorite movies of all time. What's a movie I should watch?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Don't ask me about movies. I don't ever watch movies.
I know. That's why I think
Avatar. I did like
Avatar, right? So Avatar. I've never seen Avatar. Tell me about Avatar.
Well,
what do you like about Avatar?
The thing that I love, there's two of them. The thing I love about it is the overall thing I love about it is how connected they are to the planet. Like they're very, very connected. And one of my favorite quotes that they have when they are talking to someone else, instead of saying like, oh, yeah, I understand, they look them square in the eye and they say, I see you. Mm-hmm. And like that, like to be seen by somebody is really just like so powerful.
That's a really good, like, generosity, generation, tribe of trust point right there that you just hit us with. And isn't it interesting that Sherry's birthday falls on Earth Day? Doesn't that just make sense that she would recommend Avatar? But in this case, I would say, you know what? You just referred Avatar to me. So was that hard?
No.
You see how easy referring really is? Just take something that you like and tell other people about it. It really is that easy. Do you have a favorite restaurant? What's your favorite kind of food?
Mexican.
Yeah. So what's your favorite Mexican restaurant?
In Atlanta, my favorite Mexican restaurant.
In the world. Just tell me your favorite Mexican restaurant in the world.
In the world?
Yep. Or bigger. Universe. Tell me your favorite Mexican restaurant in the universe.
I think it depends on where I'm at. In Marietta, I love Tijuana Joe's.
Okay, so Tijuana Joe's. I love that. So what do you like about Tijuana Joe's?
It's close. I love their chicken flautas. I don't know. They have fried ice cream. That's always a plus.
There you go. Right. So not every Mexican restaurant has fried ice cream. So the cool thing about that is, did it hurt to refer me Tijuana Joe's?
Nope.
So you can refer Tijuana Michael, right? So when you go out and you hear somebody talking about real estate, don't hesitate to just tell them about your friend Tijuana Michael or Tijuana Miguel if you want to just go right down the Latino theme, right? It's all good. But that's what I'll do. If somebody's like, man, I just don't recommend people or things like that, and I'll go, all right, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite restaurant? Mm-hmm. And then they'll recommend one, and I'll go, that's a referral. And let's talk about how easy that is, right? And that's the thing is that's how you build the tribe of trust sometimes, is gently and easily. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the language of the word referral with them for all these things. Hey, listen, I referred you to this financial planner. I referred you to this CPA. And by the way, your referral of the estate attorney, I'm meeting with Rob next week, right? And then your referral of the landscape group, already met with Joanne. I just want you to let you know it went really well. I already gave her a couple of referrals and she's already thinking about referring me. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. But thank you so much for referring me. And so stop there, right? But notice the power of words there is in Sherry's mind, even if she's never referred me before, like she's the champion that I'm developing into someone to refer me multiple referrals, is her identity is now changed to, I refer Michael. Mm-hmm. I refer the Maher team. I refer them. And I'm already referring them. It's a lot easier for her to continue referring than it is to do that first referral.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of psychology to this. There's a lot of, but the biggest thing is there's a lot of power to it. And, you know, when you implement the quasi referral system, one of the first things I'm going to do the next week is I'm going to write a power note to Sherry, and I'm just going to thank her for the referrals, and I'm going to thank her for the conversation. And that's the sequence, right? You do the triangle of trust calls. And here's my warning. I'll just tell you, don't do 4 professions on the first call like I just did. Do one. Pick one profession, like CPA, financial planner, estate attorney. Just pick one and only make 10 calls, and then do your follow-up from there. And by the way, this is a message for Carl and Angela and the rest of our coaches and Sherry and everybody and my coaching clients is that's your job in the next 2 weeks, is to make 10 calls to ambassadors with the triangle of trust language, and find a referring profession like a CPA, financial planner. If you're a lender, it could be a realtor, right? Or estate attorney, or business broker, or any of the other professions that you tend to get referrals from. Commercial broker. If you're a residential broker, a lot of commercial don't do residential, but they need to refer it. So anyway, that's the triangle of trust implemented with phone calls to your database. And then we also talked about the spokes to hubs, which helped us secure the Cerner relocation account and is useful for anything where you're trying to get in with a really influential person. Instead of going direct, have everybody you know complete the triangle of trust. Give you at least a dotted line chance to build that relationship based on at least a little bit of trust, and take it from there. So, you know, this in the very beginning, we talked about cross promotion emails, you know, where the lender talks positively about the realtor to the client, and the realtor talks positively to the client about the lender, right? And it's one of those where, you know, the triangle of trust is supremely powerful. This is part 4. This will be the final part right now, but you're going to hear it ingrained in a lot of the future conversations we have on Referrals podcast. And with this one strategy, you could conquer the rest of the year. If you just implement this one strategy and the different things that I talked about, just have it top of mind always, you will win the relationship, because the hardest part of a relationship is building the trust. So if there's already a beaten path of trust, you can do some great things to build a highway on that path. The hardest thing is to clear the brush and try to create that path in the first place. So I just want to wish all of you happy triangle of trusting. You know, go out and build your tribe of trust using the triangle of trust and have fun doing it. And remember, we're going to talk more about that in the Event Mastery class, which is coming up. Go to eventmastery.com or funprospecting.com. And the last thing on that is, we talked last time about there being 85 people at that event. And I was like, well, how many combinations of 3 are in that? Well, how many combinations of 3 do you think are in 85 people? How many triangles of trust can be put together out of 85 people?
Okay, wait, this is the math part for people who think that there's no math in Referrals podcast.
Yeah.
This is the math warning here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell us the equation.
Well, here's the beauty, right? Could you imagine having to sit around and figure out how many different combinations there are out of 85 people? Can you, by doing it like trial and error, and doing it? And the thing is, but what if I told you a formula? And what is a formula? A formula is just a shortcut to the answer. Yeah. And guess what? We have the referral formula, right? We have referral mastery system. We have that. We have the formula to cut your time. Could you imagine having to figure? But no, there's an equation, and it's this. If you want to know how many groups of 3 can be taken from 85, it's 85 factorial. And factorial just means 85 times 84 times 83 times 82 times 81, which is a very, very big number, just so you know. Divided by 85 minus 3, which is 82 factorial, right? Times 3 factorial, which is the number of people you're taking at a time. So it's 85 factorial divided by 82 factorial times 3 factorial. And that's how you find out. Is that a beautiful formula? Or what? I mean, it's beautiful. It's 85. It's 82. Well, it's like 82 plus 3 is 85. Those are in the bottom, right? So it's 82 factorial, 3 factorial. The answer ends up 98,770 triangles of trust are formed at an event of just 85 people. 98,770. Isn't it great that we have a formula for that? And isn't it great that we can create 98,000 plus triangles of people at what I would call a medium-sized event? And that's the beauty.
First of all, you're a nerd. Second of all,
guilty.
If you go, that's amazing to think that if you hold an event or you go to an event where there's just 85 people, there's 98,000 opportunities for you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. And if it's your event, they're all talking about you.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's 98,770 potential conversations or more about you.
Yeah.
And that's pretty crazy.
That's mic drop right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like when you realize everybody knows 150 people. So when you realize that everybody knows 150 people and those 150 people know 150 people, you realize that's 22,500 people just in your database and their database. So it's friends and friends of friends. You have a city, you have a tribe. In friends, and that's only with 150. Nobody has only 150 contacts in your phone. Everybody's got more than that. Yeah. So, it's pretty powerful when some of this math adds up and gets powerful. So anyway, the math adds up, but you don't need to know. You don't have to try to randomly think and figure out how many. No, there's a formula for it. And just like referrals, we have the formula. We've cracked the code on how to get referrals in the current marketplace. And you can learn more about it at funprospecting.com. I hope you check it out. Also, join our generosity generation. Go to joingengen.com. Let us know what you thought of the podcast. And thank you so much for helping us trend in the top 50 of all podcasts in the world in the marketing category. And we're Referrals Podcast. We don't even have marketing in the name. And yet you guys are helping us get the word out. I really appreciate that. And last but not least, thank you, co-host Sherry L. Maher. I always appreciate you more than you'd ever know. And,
it's been fun being on this series.
Yay. Thank you. And you called me a nerd, which is so awesome.
And you are a nerd.
I am a nerd. All right, nerds, unite. We're taking over the world. I will see you next time on the Referrals Podcast. Love you, everybody. Appreciate you. See you next time.